draft. Asteris right now, looks like they're kind of, what else? Like, you probably need some more beef on that team, right? Team Asteris?
Yeah, Asteris definitely need some beefiness. They need some crowd control. As such, heroes such as Tigreal, Akai, they are all pretty standard picks that we can definitely expect coming out of Asteris. What other tanks we can expect here? Edith has been banned, unfortunately. So I think going for conventional tanks may actually be a better idea. If they want to play the Carmilla, I will say that Carmilla is still a decent pick because the opponent has a Fredrin and is a very good target for you and carry to actually just focus down onto the Fredrin, which will eventually leak out to the rest of the team.
Yeah, but look at this Grok pick here. Okay, you got your beef with Akai and Arlot. Frontline guys that want to that can potentially, disrupt and push people around. So you have a lot of ways to kind of keep Carry and Novaria alive. Now, on the other end, Bleed Esports picking up the Grok, going with the 4-man, just run at you melee strat. I see some potential issues here.
And what is that?
What is that? Just 4 melee guys.
Of course. High ground is definitely the issue.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they... Okay, there we go.
There you go.
To target that, we do have a Sicilian that have pretty good high ground.
Yeah.
The bad impact itself have got massive amount of damage all across the board. So, and also, it does seem like this is the first official Sicilian game in MPLSG.
What's with these mid laners picking these off-meta picks? First we see the Grecian, then we see the Sicilian. Guys, we are in for a long game.
Even though this is like the first Sicilian in MPLSG Season 7, it doesn't feel too off of a pick. It feels as though we have seen it quite a lot in previous seasons or something along those lines, because Sicilian is a very hard hero. Hard as in when it comes down to consistency as well as when it comes down to growth. Sicilian can definitely stack up quite a fair bit, and it's pretty scary and annoying to deal with once we reach the late stages of the game.
Yeah, Sicilian has a passive where he gains, I think, more mana as long as he hits an enemy hero with his skill, and the more mana he gets, his ability skill with that, right? So he's going to hit harder the more he hits his skills, and the later the game grows, the more his damage is going to grow. So we are in for round number 4, I believe, of MPLSG Season 7 of the lower bracket semifinals. We have Asteris versus Bleed Esports. Right now, the score is 2-1 to the side of Bleed if you are just joining us. And wow, if you're just joining us, you are in for a ride, and you need to go and watch the first 2 games.
First
3 games.
3 games. Yeah, I mean, like, look, every game has gone the distance in that sense, and it comes down to the micro plays, like the little late game decisions. And that's kind of what's turned this one on, is that it's been so interesting because you have something that's like, you're making mistakes, and how does the other enemy team capitalize, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you don't have the stomps, you don't have the full control that you might see from, some of the other teams, but these are 2 evenly matched teams that really want it.
Yeah, being evenly matched is just so nice to watch because you're seeing some pretty high-level gameplay, I think, coming up from both sides. You see, yes, mistakes being made, of course, but, it's high gameplay nonetheless. And I'm excited to actually see the gold lane a little bit more because we see Seiji versus Chu. The tables have been flipped. This time, Seiji on the Roger, but I have to give credit to Seiji. Seiji does look like the better Roger player overall, so I want to see how much of a difference it makes in this matchup.
All right, back in the top lane, Seiji and Chu. Okay, we're going to jump to the turtle here. Bleed Esports probably pushing back FMM. He doesn't need to deal with this. Now, Akai is still up in front, JH that is. He will be scared away, I would think, but this is going to be a close one here.
The Astro Echo acts up as well as the heavy spin, but unfortunately that's not quite enough for Asteris to do anything at this point in time as Bleed manages to take the turtle for themselves. But here comes the big black dragon coming in from the side of Bear, just going to be wrecking on Havoc and should be able to build a decent amount of shower residue, but not quite onto Gear just yet. As such, it is going to be expected of Bear to go down because he didn't really hit all of that shower residue for him to stay alive.
FMM died as well, so it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Bleed. By the way, they also got the turtle. So this time, Bleed is taking the lead at 1.4k gold lead. 3 minutes into the game. That is actually pretty significant for Bleed. We have seen them, once they got a lead, they haven't let go of that lead. And taking the lead this early in the game, Astra's not looking too great of a shape.
Yeah, and Bleed right now, we're seeing the growth of this team, right? We saw them struggle yesterday. They bounced back. They figured out how to win. They faced adversity even today. For the first 2 games, they bounced back and they got themselves back in.
As in the meantime, the final slash has already been suspended from FMM, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be too big of a deal. So now the rest of the members from the side of Bleed, they want to put a lot more emphasis down on the carry to try to make sure that carry don't get as much farm as possible. And in the meantime, also try to get a snowball going for Seiji too.
Snowball going for Seiji, but Snowball going for Jay as well. Keep in mind that this hero is going to keep growing, and he is going to grow exponentially the more he hits his skills. JH looks like he got caught out in position.
Immediately with the heavy spin, disengages himself to ensure that he's got the right passageway to go home.
Create a passageway to go home, I suppose, in this case.
He's going to make his own way. He's going to get himself into the jungle. Gear's chasing him down. And he's going to miss the barrier, though. So it looks like Bleed Esports, though, being the aggressors, pushing it out, like forcing them back, and then now turning this into hopefully what is looking to be a turtle here. But Gear just being like, he's been doing so much damage.
Yeah, so much damage coming out from the side of Bleed. We see Jay actually licking his wounds as he has to recall, but we see Turtle being taken away by Yawn. It's a free Turtle at this point in time. 1.7k to the names of Bleed. Gear going really deep though.
Oh, just to go in for
slash.
a single power of nature? Well, okay, the fact that he would be able to run away is not that big of a deal, as the Cyclone Eye sends him on his way back home.
I mean, he attracts so much attention. He had 3 of the enemy team from Asteris like forced onto him, and he literally just walks away. He zips on out of there. He's fine. So Gear doing what he should be doing as a roamer, attracting a lot of attention by being just like this nuisance.
I mean, look, that's what Grok does, right?
Yeah.
He goes in, and then he walks out whilst holding his first skill, and he just walks away. He's like, hey, guys, contract.
In the meantime, Sagitnu, he did manage to rack up quite a bit of damage on the side of Kiwi, but the final slash connects down to Sagitnu. Unfortunately, the Sanguine Claws from Jade did not quite manage to land onto FMM. Sagitnu goes in for a poke, but gets poked himself instead.
Gear again, just dueling with FMM. You talk about the wet noodle fight earlier. It's almost similar. FMM and Gear just kind of going at it, and FMM is just like, just get me out of here, man. Get this big old beast away from me, man.
There's nothing they can do to one another at all.
Yeah.
They just slowly play around.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's just Gear and FMM just feeling each other out. And they don't have anyone that can be conclusive in terms of damage unless Chu comes here. But Chu's positioning is actually pretty darn scary. But luckily for Asteris, Bleed actually don't have all that much of a crowd control they can really work with, unless Gear goes in for a surprise wild charge. But for now, speaking of surprise, the heavy spin is indeed a surprise, and that combination battery between the Arlet and the Archive presents itself with unlimited dashes that brings Gear down.
Gear playing with fire a bit too much, too often that is, and he did get caught out. Didn't really expect JH to commit the heavy spin, locks him in, make sure that they do get that kill. So now this is going to be an opening. Yawn going in.
Immediately, FMM lost half of his HP already. Akai is still going to be holding onto the turtle while Bear immediately pops off with the Black Dragon bomb. He's just going to be creating quite a little bit of menace, while in the meantime we also have the final strike just going to be landing on bring Yawn down. Jade suffers down a lot more of that kill. But now
the
FMM
barrier.
returns himself back to the fray. Was hoping that he would be able to do a little bit more, but unfortunately he doesn't have any more dashes. Well, Kiwi lands the Star Shatter right down onto the Grog, but not quite enough to bring him down.
That was massive. There's a tempo swing still on the side of Bleed. Bleed is extending this lead. This is how you extend leads, right? When you are ahead. That's absolutely crazy. As we take a look in this replay, yes, JH managed to lock up Gear with his heavy spin, but he doesn't have the heavy spin for this fight. It would have been great if he could spin away Bleed for this team fight. But as you see here right now, yeah, exactly. The barrier was paramount for the side of Gear. Honestly, that was a very, very well played team fight for the side of Bleed, noticing that JH does not have this heavy spin for the turtle fight, went all in and came out the winners of that fight.
It's scary that Seiji got 2 kills in that one. Jay, he's been quite amazing. I mean, he's got a 2-level difference against Kiwi. He's 0-0-5, he's been there. Just like the amount of AoE damage that he's been doing in team fights has been on point. Gear, again, we talked about the power of this guy, and his just positioning and the way he even positions the barriers, really, really next level, right? This is a guy you've got to be careful of.
I think the one other thing that's really scary is the fact that Gear is constantly in the opponent's jungle. That means that Asteris no longer have any form of privacy. Bleed will always know where Asteris are, and if they want to set up for anything, Bleed is ready to play their macro game. In fact, this is very reminiscent to how Bleed used to play last time. Having a Cho, having a Grog, they're just going in. But speaking of going in, it is going to be a burst of damage down onto FMM, and FMM couldn't even utter a single word before going down without a spark.
Yawn with the disrespect, finds the recall button, makes sure it works, spams it a couple too many times, but now, again, back into the mid lane. Gear, you talk about the fact that, you know, Asteris has no privacy. I think Gear was actually even looking in the dressing room of Asteris, like, no privacy whatsoever. I'm just kidding, I don't want to go that.
No, but man, dude, I talk about real estate, right? The Blade is just smashing their homes once again. Poor Asteris does not have a home to live in. I mean, look, the jungle is supposed to be the quiet place, the place of, you know, perhaps extra farm they could take, but even that is being stolen away from them. Lord has been taken away by Yawn. Once again, 7k gold lead for the side of Bleed. I have yet to see Asteris come back from such a deficit.
Okay, well, never say never. My prediction is still in play. I am a little worried, if I'm going to be completely honest. I do think Bleed are really, like, this is a team that's starting to, you see the growth, like, just how much better they've gotten, even from yesterday, just the way that they're playing. And Asteris are kind of playing scared. They're playing on the back foot. They're playing not to lose, which is not going to win you too many games.
Honestly, I'm extremely worried for Asteris because right now, Bleed's composition, one of their main damage dealers, is actually a late game hero. And the very fact that Asteris is not even at the late game yet, they are having so much issue. An issue it is at hand, as we have JH already been taken down. Gil went in with a wild charge. It did manage to land on someone, but look at the Appraisal's Raft that just managed to do quite a lot of damage. But for now, Yawn, he's going to go straight down though. Ooh. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade between both of those junglers.
Sicilian is just outputting so much damage. And this is only mid-game, guys. We haven't even hit the late game and Jay is already chunking people down with his bats.
The answer to Jay actually is Bear, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Bear is capable of doing anything at this point in time. The amount of items that he have, I don't think that it really is anything at all. With the Dreadnought armor, Hunter Strike, as well as a single robe, he don't have that much that can really work for him. If he really wants to stand a chance, at least against Jay, then at least when it will probably only when he gets himself the Radiant armor.
Yeah, and even then, look, he has to go through Gear, he has to go through Yawn, he has to go through Sakito before he even reaches Jay. And Jay has, I mean, Sicilian's range with the bat impact is not, it's not small. He's able to bat impact people from distances away, and he can still group them up as well with the Sanctuary and Claws. Honestly speaking, the Sicilian pick into this team
Oh.
composition makes sense.
High octane play as we do have Yon that's just going to be starting in the fight first. We're using his retribution, allowing JH just going to be coming up from the northern side and just rushing on through with the heavy spin. But for now, Bear is just going to be fighting onto the back lines, and we are looking for that very specific play. But unfortunately, as I said before, without the radiant armor, you will not be able to do much to Jay. As such, Jay brings him down. Seiji continues on forward with a killing spree down onto the Akai, leaving Kiwi all alone as a Novaria to stop this upcoming push from Jay as well as Seiji.
Jay has also just picked up the Bloodwings. Honestly, this could just be a game-ending push, maybe?
No, it can't be.
no,
It can't be.
Not too early.
Yeah.
I'm just hyping it up, guys.
You're like, could it potentially
Could it
happen? No,
potentially? No,
sir.
no.
No, hold your horses. No, we're not dead yet. But I mean, Seiji, look, 3-0-2. Like, his target prioritization has been on point. Like, forcing it out, FMM is 1-4-3, but Asteris, again, back foot. They have no way to get to the lore. They have no room. The Gears barriers have been on point. They've been blocked out. Gears spotting out everything. Very difficult situation for Asteris.
Gear is the human ward that Bleed needed, right? And he's playing Grok, one of the heroes that can get in and out of places and still survive. Honestly, Gear is the MVP right now in my eyes. I mean, being able to provide so much vision to the side of Bleed gives them enough information to decide what they want to do, right?
This is interesting. JH is only at level 12. As such, his retribution level is way lower than Yon. But yet, Asteris went in to try to actually speed up that Lord process. In the meantime, I believe that the fight is about to start off as Asteris is just really getting themselves in and really just punching out on the Bleed. But the Lord eventually reset it. And Asteris, they're back to square one.
Honestly, I think this is Bleed trying to bleed Asteris out, right? They smell blood in the water. And the thing is, Sicilian with 266 stacks is massive. He's gonna be outputting so much damage with his bat speed and bat impact.
Seiji.
His Seiji is so low.
Bear, he's just gonna be jumping right in, but unfortunately he's not able to catch on to Jay. So what exactly can he do right now? Absolutely nothing! As Yon now have managed to get himself the Lord, so Gitnu gets a kill down on 2, leaving Kiwi all alone, all again. And Bleed, they are gonna be marching in as a absolute unit of 5. Even with a Star Shatter, Astro Echo, everything that they want to bring in coming from Kiwi, what can he possibly do? So Gear charges right in with the Wild Charge, and Bleed does the impossible and regained their mentality, getting themselves to 3-1, knocking Asteris out of the competition.
I just like that.